Hello everyone and welcome to a showcase that I have been anticipating for a good year and a half now. Five Nights at Freddy's, the first game. So as I've said multiple times, I've been anticipating this for so long, and it's finally here, just in time for Halloween actually. So, let's get into the showcase. First minifigure is Freddy Fazbear. Freddy was quite interesting to make. I actually have sculpted this head a good 3 times, but as a whole, this is a brand new head that I just sculpted a few weeks ago. Now, there's quite a few things to actually note on this figure. First off, the entire body has been sculpted up because of the fact that Freddy is not a skinny boy, that's for sure. So I sculpted near where the knees would be, and I did not sculpt here, and there's a good reason for that. If I did sculpt here, I would not be able to move the legs of this character, allowing less poses for said character. The arms are sculpted around the shoulder and then near the wrist going up. Just a simple brown paint job going almost all the way around. We have a bit of an orange here to represent the secondary fur. He's holding a microphone. Now to talk about what was probably the hardest part, the actual head. Obviously, ears are actually pretty easy. That, holding it together, is wire. That's how I attach all these little bits on these characters, is with wire. Then I sculpted the top hat right here. And obviously the signature Freddy styled head. Now, something really interesting about all these characters that I did for the first time while making them is the eyes. I think that the eyes really complete these characters. I sculpted a little eyeball in each socket, and I painted it to look like this, which is by far the best looking eyes I've ever made. And unfortunately, I cannot make these eyes for minifigures. I wish I could, but I can't. These eyes are beautiful, and I wish I could do them for minifigures, but again, that's not the proper LEGO style. There is a major exception with these minifigs, just because of the fact that they are animatronics. So that makes sense. And yeah, that's pretty much it for Freddy. I guess I could say that the head right here is, well, the base of the head, the base of all their heads actually, is a 1x1 cylinder brick, and then 2 studs on top of that. So the 2 studs are about here, and then the cylinder's right here. I actually cut off the bottom because I ended up sculpting it too high. But yeah, that's it for Freddy. I mean, he has the bow tie and everything. I believe this is 100% accurate to Freddy as a whole. So let's move on to the next minifig. And here is Bonnie the Bunny. Now, there's quite a few things to note about Bonnie the Bunny. So, obviously, painted all purple. The legs and arms are made just like Freddy's, where the legs have the sculpted pad where the knee would be, and then the arms have sculpted putty towards the top of the arm and near the wrist, forming a gauntlet. obviously the secondary color. The secondary color is actually pretty interesting. Normally it would be just like a white, but I mixed in some purple because I noticed that it does tend to have a purple tint to it. And it gave off this nice white gray with a bit of a purple tint, and I think it really sells the secondary color for Bonnie. By the way, this is actually a custom piece. The guitar is a custom piece. It came with the knockoff of Bonnie that I got from Comic-Con 2018. Right here came this bad boy. So I just took it off of him and I gave it to Bonnie, because honestly, it's a perfect piece for such a beautiful figure. Now, if you look very closely, you can see the indents for the teeth. So there you go. You can see the teeth right there. And the ears I sculpted quite a long time ago. Even before I sculpted the head, actually. And I eventually cut it off of a paper clip, now that I'm thinking about it. And same thing with the eyes. I really love how these eyes came out on every single one of the minifigs. And yeah, that's it for Bonnie. It's just about the same thing as Freddy. So let's go on to the next minifig. And here is Chica the Chicken. Now, I actually have quite a bit to say about this figure. First, starting off with the fact that this figure is the most annoying figure I have ever created. I painted a good 20 coats of yellow, and this thing still has a tint of green. I cannot believe that it still is like that. But, I mean, Chica isn't really the cleanest character, so it kind of does work in my favor a little bit. Because there's so much paint on top of sculpting, I can't move this arm, because if I do, all of the paint will fall apart. I'm not kidding. I do not want to move it. I'm never going to move this arm, because I don't want to deal with that personally. Now, if we go to the bib, you can see that it is sculpted out, and I actually wrote, "Let's eat," with a push pin. And then the legs, obviously done where Chica is supposed to have. The duck feet, and the same thing as Freddy and Bonnie's. It's the same template for every single arm and legs. It's the same exact template. Now this is just a 2x2 round jumper plate with a brown flower piece and then a neon pink stud that I painted. And then the head is actually pretty interesting. Of course, you can see the eyebrows and the eyes, which I still love these eyes, even though I hate this figure because of how much it pained me to create. But I actually went back and fixed this figure. What I actually did, because the bottom jaw was all messed up, I actually carved into it to about here and chopped off the bottom jaw. And then I resculpted it, and I actually managed to resculpt teeth as well. And then I waited for all that to dry, and this is what you see before you. I also ended up smoothing out these edges, adding a bit more just to make it look a lot more like a beak and not like a winding road, if you know what I mean. Anyway, that is it for Chica, so let's go on to the final minifig. And here's the final minifigure of the showcase, Foxy the Pirate. Now, Foxy here was actually very interesting to make. These legs are actually regular legs cut in half, and then skeleton legs cut in half, but unlike others, I actually sculpted down to make the ripped pants. I also connected it using green stuff instead of just super glue, which I actually think turned out really nice. So there is that. Next, the arms are just about the same template, except obviously Foxy has holes throughout his entire costume, so that is a wire representing the animatronic endoskeleton, and then he has the 3 little hairs going outward. It is just like this on the other side too. You can see it is just about the same, except there's a pirate hook, of course. We need to represent his hook properly. Then, the chest. This is about normal torso level. It goes up a bit, and then this is more wire to represent the endoskeleton underneath, which actually came out a lot better than I intended it to. I used black oil paint, and I pushed it on top, and it went in to the crevices, made it completely dark in there, and then I went over it in silver, exposing the wire. Then, the head. Obviously, connected with wire. I already said that. We have the eye patch right here, which I actually painted the eye underneath. And no, I did not glue the eye patch on. That was sculpted like that, meaning that I actually had to paint around the eye patch, which was not an easy task to do. So, again, I have these amazing eyes that I love so much. And then, just like Chica, I fixed up Foxy before I actually painted him. I sculpted around each end towards the front of his face, just to kind of bulk it up and smooth out the edges, making them less curved inward. And then I also made the eye sockets and put in the eyeballs to make this that you see before you. The teeth are wire that I cut and sculpted into the jaw. Unfortunately, he does not have teeth on the top, but I don't really think he needs it, considering that you don't really see much of his mouth anyway. But yeah, that is it for Foxy, and let's end out the showcase. Before we actually end the video, I would just like to address something before I get yelled at it in the comments. Where is Golden Freddy? I expected a lot of commotion about that, and I thought I would just address it here before anybody actually comments about it. So, I intend on making almost all of the Five Nights at Freddy's characters. So, I didn't make Golden Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's 1, just because, well, first of all, his character is not that interesting to make. It's literally just Freddy, but he's yellow. That's literally the exact character model. Second, sculpting Freddy was a complete and total nightmare. I spent 3 times sculpting Freddy and his face. And I didn't want to have to go through that again to try to replicate it. Third, Golden Freddy appears in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 as an actual character. Many people consider him to be a character in the game, but if you are actually going into the custom night portion of Five Nights at Freddy's, He is not there. You cannot turn up his difficulty because he is not an official character of the game. He is an Easter egg, meaning that most players probably will not encounter Golden Freddy anytime in their playing of the first game. Now, the second game actually addresses said character, Golden Freddy, and brings him into the game. He is an actual character of which you can turn up and down his difficulty because he's an actual character with a sprite that you can control. But as of right now, you cannot do that in Five Nights at Freddy's, the first game. So, I did not make him. I had no plans of making him for this showcase, but I will probably make him for Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which is another reason why I did not make him here. Because he's very similar looking in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. He sits in the same exact position, but he's a lot more withered, which makes him a lot more interesting to make. This is why I did not make him for this showcase, because it didn't make sense to, at least in my mind. That is why he is not here beside these four. Because, personally, I do think that he is part of the lore, but I don't actually see him as a main character of this game, just an Easter egg. So, I really am proud of these figures. If you did enjoy these figures and thought that they look really cool, please hit the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. I do a lot of different kinds of custom minifigures and showcase them here over time. I will see you in the next video. Bye!